Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. You're watching Seeing the Unseen with Christopher LaPrath. My name's Kenan, the producer of the show. Tonight, the title is Entitled Opinion, which I sort of came through this afternoon thinking about the show and how everyone is entitled to their opinion, but that can lead to some fairly unhelpful situations. So Christopher has some excellent things to share on that in terms of ways to get around those opinions. So for anyone who's out there joining us, be sure to say something in the chat. The first time, of course, there's no charge for readings, but going forward after that, it's $10 per card, or you can pay $100 and cover the entire month for readings, which I highly recommend since we run 3 shows per week. That's normally Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Arizona time. So thanks for listening to me. Enjoy the show. Here's Christopher.
Great blessed Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for being here. I light the incense for you. And in this case for tonight, and around the energy of this, is opening your eyes even further. The eyes of faith and the eyes of truth. So for some reason, the show tonight, the title didn't update, but it is entitled Opinion. So you met people, everybody has their own opinion. Some people are entitled, and they have an entitled opinion that they're right, and they don't see any wrongness in it, or they're not open to any learning. So they have no quandary about forgiving themselves because they feel like there's nothing to forgive themselves for, but in getting upset about it, or that entitled opinion pulls you out of who you are. And if they're not forgiving themselves, how come people hold the energy of that entitled opinion? To simply just completely let it go. And that's what the incense is for tonight, is being able to see the eyes of truth. So I want to go right into the group card tonight. It's a very interesting concept. The group card is called the Smoky Mirror. Okay, so think about getting out of the shower and your mirror's all fogged up. You can't really shave or do your hair with a fogged up mirror. But many people do. Most people do. They're looking through life like at a smoky mirror. And they're not really seeing things clearly, nor do they really even want to see things clearly. And that's okay. That is completely up to them. And this is you keeping your energy to yourself and who you are without getting pulled out into an entitled opinion. Listen, for those of you, all of you, that are doing this advanced spiritual work, the smoky mirror is about things that are implied, but they cannot be immediately known. It's what I lit the incense for. It's about seeing through the eyes of truth and faith, because we're all part of this incredibly vast, interconnected world where events go orchestrated in divine order, but they're really challenging to grasp. Like, they're really challenging and sometimes very, did I use the word challenging? Very challenging to understand or grasp. But it's absolutely having that faith that things are working out, because all of the worlds, this physical, the spiritual, the mental, emotional, they're all interconnected. And Trust that it is happening in a divine order. Because within the hidden realms, within spirit, we'll call them the hidden realms, all aspects of the human journey are celebrated, whether it's joy or tragedy, happiness, grief. But it's understanding and letting go of the need to have a clear picture on things. And so even when I've read for some of you, you had no idea what was going on. Like Lana, I'll tell you Lana's story. And I'll remind you of Lana's story. Lana had these birds hitting her window, not just once. They would hit the window, fly, and hit the window again, and again, and again. And about the same time, she got a listing of a house that a brother and a sister had died in. And so she knew, as strange and as mysterious as it was, she knew that those birds hitting the window had somehow tied in with this house where the brother and sister died. And she got this feeling of urgency and this sense of feeling that she needed to help find this brother and sister's real family, because the county was going to come in and take over the house and the property and sell it off. And so she actually found the relatives. It's things like that that are very mysterious. We don't understand. We just simply trust and have faith that it's going to work out. Some things, they're meant to be a mystery, which really we're meant to understand through experience. So when I do the readings tonight, or whenever I do the readings, things don't make sense to me sometimes at all. Like you've heard me even say to Kenan, did what I just said make sense? So if you're taking notes, write it down. It may not make any sense right now, but tomorrow, a week from today, 2 weeks, a month, it can start clicking in. And I've gotten many texts from people that go, oh, now it makes sense. And it's a month later after I did the reading. So I want to welcome Marilyn, Abby and Marilyn, back from Massachusetts and a great dog rescue. Can we pull up the list again? Sorry. And then Laura, Lana, and Amanda. Be a really good night tonight. Thank you. So if you're watching, you've got to say something in the chat to get a reading. Otherwise, we won't know that you're here. So say hello, and we'll know that we'll put you in line for a reading. So, my dear Marilyn, what you are seeking is also seeking you. Now, I'm not talking about seeking the scissors that you might have misplaced. You do have to go seek those. But more of the spiritual matters, like for instance, the theme for tonight about the smoky mirror and lifting distortion, lifting things that we're not seeing clearly and that we don't even know that we're not seeing clearly. That's what this seeker is about, and it's allowing that answer or that explanation to come to you. I knew a man in the state of Maine years ago, and he was a little kid. He would go out and in the early morning before dawn, lay in the yard with a handful of birdseed. And he did that for years and years and years. And so 50 years later, all he needed to do was walk out on the porch, hold a hand of birdseed out, and hundreds of birds would show up. It was generational. Like the birds had told their babies it's okay to eat out of this guy's hand, and it went on and on and on. It was allowing the birds to come to him And or it's like I have a friend up in Colorado, a client up in Colorado, and the deer this time of year come out of the mountains and they come into the lowlands, and she's able to feed the deer right out of her hand. That's where these ahas, I'll use ahas, allow them to come to you. It's about being still. Like the young man that would lay in the yard for 2 or 3 hours without moving, with the bird seed in his hand. Eventually the birds started coming to him. It's about being still up here, Marilyn. And you're getting better and better at it. So sometimes I get messages, but I don't know who they're for. But then a day or two later, I meet somebody and I go, oh, this message, I get it. It's for you. So we get some of these messages, or we start having some of these deeply spiritual experiences. And they're a mystery. And they're really kind of sometimes meant to be a mystery. We don't have to figure them out. Nor sometimes is there a logical explanation. So I really encourage all of you to keep some kind of diary, or keep a notebook by your bed at night with any of your dreams that you have, any of your messages that you're getting. Just write them down and trust that there's a process to this. So this is honoring your process, Marilyn. That what you are seeking is also seeking you. Okay. And if you have anything to jump in on that, Kenan, holler on any of the cards tonight, or any of the messages. All right, Abby and Marilyn. Okay, so Marilyn, Abby, Marilyn. Right now, when you walk, you don't think twice about keeping your equilibrium. You just do it naturally. You walk forward, you turn, you pivot, you bend, and you keep your equilibrium. You don't question, wait a minute, how am I keeping my equilibrium? How is that happening? So stop questioning any of your abilities or what you feel are non-abilities. It's simply not thinking about them and knowing that they're developing. It's not saying that you don't get thrown off. But it's like stumbling, right? If you stumble, you keep your equilibrium and you get back on the path without questioning it, well, how did my body correct itself? This is autocorrect, Abby. It's coming into helping you autocorrect even more, and doing it naturally, doing it where you're not even thinking about it. When you start questioning things, just get out of your head. Go do something. Go make another wreath. Go take the dogs for a walk. go occupy that and stop questioning these gifts that are coming up. All of this so far tonight with Marilyn Pitts and you, Abby, and also I'm talking to you, Marilyn, on this one as well. And so, Marilyn, if you can, I'll pull a card here for you in a minute. But with you, both you and Abby, Marilyn, if you can think about yourselves as spiritual chiropractors. I love this. Because people like, especially people that have never gone to a literal chiropractor before, they don't know how good it feels when they get like an adjustment, or people that have never had a massage before. They don't realize how tense they are, or maybe how their neck has been out of whack, or their upper back. Both of you, and especially you, Marilyn, have this ability to crack negativity. And how you do this, one of the things you can say is, well, that's an interesting point of view that you have that point of view. You're acknowledging their point of view, and you're saying it's interesting, and it's interesting that they have that point of view, but you're not agreeing with it, and you're turning the negativity around. So I'll address this to you, Lindsay and Amanda, Lana, Laura, as well. Also, things come up to leave. So we've talked about this before, food poisoning, your system gets rid of it. Better out than in. And so any negativity that you may be feeling, use that as going, where is that coming from within me? It's about lifting distortion. That's what the group card was about tonight. I want to share this. I wrote this down about the group card. I forgot to share this. So thank you, Marilyn, for pulling this negativity card. It's understanding the shadow of the human journey. It requires that you go deep into your story to discover the wound that prevents you from seeing the truth of your current situation. I'll give you an example. I had a client whose older brother would constantly beat up on her from the time they were little. And so one day in high school, they're walking home from high school, and I don't know, the football jock who was real popular really starts harassing this girl and says some really inappropriate things to her. She goes to tell her brother, and her brother goes and beats the crap out of that guy. So how it went in is, oh, it's okay to put up with all the abuse from my older brother because he's my protector. And so there was that shadow side that was as inappropriate, but it was cognitive dissonance that she set up and made it okay for him to continue to beat her up because he was her protector. So that's an example I wanted to share with you, Marilyn, is is, and this is for everybody on the show because it goes within to that group card again. Any fears and expectations, any disappointment, any unworthiness can be clouding your capacity to see the potential in yourself and others. So anywhere where anyone, including Kenan and I, everyone on the show, everyone that's watching the show, maybe 10 years from now, are you willing to let go of that disappointment and unworthiness in order to cloud your potential and your service to others and the reason that you're here on this planet? Man, I really like the small groups. I have to tell you, I can go a little bit deeper, which is great. Okay. So this is your ability, Marilyn. I'll go back and reiterate it as to cracking the negativity. And people go, "Oh, didn't realize I was so negative. My neck feels so much better." Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just the way you put things, the way you look at people, and you're given words to say when you're supposed to say them. All right, my dear Laura. So remember, Laura, this is a good card. When we were up there last week, a week ago Monday, remember one of the women in the circle got this card. So it's the death card. But the death card always precedes the rebirth card. But it is absolutely letting a belief system die. It's allowing it to die. It's in the death throes already. But like death, there's this transitory period. So I had a really good friend. So in my book, I talk about my friend Carol, who was a client of mine, and she introduced me to my teacher. Anyway, years later, Carol number one was telling everybody, "I'm not going to live another summer here in Arizona. I can't handle it." But she was also married to a very abusive type of husband, but she was Baptist, and so they absolutely repelled the idea of divorce. So she went to the doctor, and she got this extremely virulent type of cancer. They only gave her 2 weeks to live. My point of telling you this is she had that whole thing is till death do us part. Well, I guess I gotta die. But when I went to give her a hug, nobody knew how sick she was, but when I went to give her a hug, I had this feeling like I was passing through her. It was like hugging a hologram. And later I was talking to one of the masters, and he said, yes, he goes, what's happening is it's like the soul is leaving the body, but it's creating a spiritual body. And you were sensing that, and that's exactly what it was. So what this death card for you, Laura, is you're creating a new reality, even though you're not aware of it. But the death card is about you becoming more aware of it. Like you're dying in many ways of old beliefs about yourself, old ways of being and old ways of doing and old ways of people that you're with. So it's a good card. It's a very, very powerful card. But it is like a major transformation for you, which is good. Okay, my dear Lanny. All right. Success. This is so I had a client, a dear friend, and she would love to go to the casino. And every time she went, she would win literally thousands of dollars. And she played, was it Keno?
Mm-hmm.
So Keno, if I ever went to, I played the slot machines. Keno is kind of like watching paint dry. You choose this series of numbers, and you push a button, and it goes ding, 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 and it chooses 6 numbers. Anyway, she goes, come sit by me. So I sat by her on this Keno machine. And she would hand me $100 bills, $100 bills, $100 bills, $100 bills. She goes, okay, do this and do this way. And she just had this sense or this feeling every time I would at least win the money back, and sometimes a lot more. Of course, I would just pay her back. But it was just this, I am successful. So Lindsay, Amanda, Lana, Laura, Marilyn, Abby, Marilyn, I am successful. I am successful. Success surrounds me. It always works out. And that's why you've got the success card. But it's about putting more energy into being a bigger cheerleader for yourself. So everyone on the show tonight, again, Lindsay, Amanda, Lana, Laura, Marilyn, Abby, Marilyn, absolutely focusing on success. And I'll tell this story again, but Lana is my cousin, and her mom, my aunt, was the first woman in Idaho to get her real estate license. If my Aunt Nona had listened to all the egotistical men that tried to take her down, she never would have created what she created or helped thousands of people. This is, you're successful. And I'm going back to Abby's card about the equilibrium, staying in the success equilibrium. No matter how the road seems to turn, no matter how the mystery of life is, it is owning, moving out of denial, and seeing the truth that we are successful. All right, and then we've got, okay, Amanda, hey, thank you for being here. So I've got a client now, Amanda, who we just spoke today. And she's been going through a divorce for 4 years now. And then she met a gentleman who is, she feels like it's like her soulmate. And he's in another part, he's traveling because of his company and what he does. He's in Eastern Asia, and he just texted her that he was diagnosed with a very serious illness. And all of a sudden, it put things in alignment as to priority. She realized that the divorce and everything that the narcissistic husband was doing and saying meant nothing. And so it put things in perspective. So this is called the Devil's Play card. This is, are you willing to let go of taking things so seriously and playing more? Knowing, like, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. So it's, and then you become lighter, and you become more loving to yourself. Absolutely. You are an incredible person. You are very loving. And but Simon says, love yourself more. You ever play Simon Says? Okay, so Simon's saying, love yourself more. And it's letting go of survival, rigidity. And you had at that one time those things were formed, the rigidity, the stiffness, the time that they were formed in your life, they were necessary in order for you to survive. They're not necessary now. This is about transforming from the mighty oak that doesn't bend in the wind to a blade of grass, to being able to bend and adapt. Then you can go back to the oak if you want, but it's transforming accordingly to the situation. And does this feel like play? That's your key. Does this feel like play to me? Does this feel fun? And if it doesn't, can you make it fun? Maybe it's work, maybe it's a duty or a job that you're doing. Can you make it more fun? Can you make it more lively? Okay. Yeah. So the other thing, Amanda, so I saw this article. I read this. It was about who's the girl that stars in Beetlejuice and Stranger Things? Oh, what's her name? The actress.
There's Christina Ricci, but
Anyway, it was one of those actresses, Amanda.
yeah.
And she goes to try out for a part, and they go, "Oh, you're not pretty enough." So she goes across the street from the studio to Neiman Marcus, and she goes to the makeup counter, and she goes, I need to be beautiful, like now. And so they make her all up, and she goes back and she gets the part. Anyway, I'll think of her name in a minute. Anyway, she got the part. I think she was nominated for an Academy Award. But my point of telling you this story is changing your makeup, changing your. Why I'm getting this is I'm focusing here on this pink, fuchsia, lighter colors. Because that will help you begin to see yourself in a different light. Just changing up a color or two is what they're telling me to tell you. Winona Ryder. Thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay's on it. Lindsay's on it. That's right on. Yeah, it was Winona Ryder. Yeah. Thank you. And it will remind you that you are beautiful enough. All right, my dear Lindsay, here we go. So 2 cards fell out, Lindsay. The Magician card and the Love card. So there's a new love, there's a new magic, and this person is somehow unlocking the magic that you really didn't know that you had, or an awareness about yourself that you weren't aware of before. I don't know why, but your brother's wanting to take credit for this. He's like a heavenly matchmaker. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I was talking to Amanda about, but this is more about you deserving love, not the love where the next shoe is going to fall, or something bad's going to happen, or you could lose them, or you could get into a fight. This is like being absolutely open and vulnerable to love, but mainly understanding that you deserve actual love. Not somebody's love where they were taught what love is or how love should be. No, this is actual love that is in more alignment with who you are. A peaceful and safe love. And it's like your brother's wanting to he's saying, Lindsay, take a nap. Let me drive for a while. I don't know what that means, but it's funny. He's actually really funny. I got this. I'm taking care of this. And there's just so much like magic. And so I'll tell you a story what happened to me today, like an example of this. Is I had a little bit of a toothache. So Kenan recommended a dentist. And I do go to dentists, but I really pay attention to the energy, obviously, of a dental clinic. And the dentist I've gone to the past couple of years, I went one time and I was out. Like, nope, I'm not going back. So this one tooth, I went in today, and like they literally greeted me at the door with a bottle of water. You know, hi, my name is Mary. Hi, my name is Sally. Hi, my name is Betty. And they went down the line of the people, the girls behind the counter. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then this Giselle's like, oh, I'm the tour guide. And then she takes me through the whole clinic. And it's up on the 3rd floor of this building here in Phoenix that looks over all the mountains. I mean, you could just be mesmerized by the view. And she takes me on this tour. And then they sit me down and they're like, they take x-rays, and the doctor comes in and he's like, okay, we've got to do an extraction right away, and you need an implant. And I was like in shock. It's like, what? Okay. And then he showed me the x-rays and he showed me why. My point of it is when I went out to the counter, I said, I want to come in tomorrow, like tomorrow, because then that I won't have a show again until Sunday. So but I had a Care Credit. I don't know if you're familiar with Care Credit. Care Credit's like a dental insurance or a dental credit card. and I had $800 on it. First of all, I didn't know it was in my wallet. So I was like looking through my wallet for my regular work insurance card, and this Care Credit insurance card pulls up. I go, well, is there anything on this? I don't even know how it got in my wallet. That's magic. That's the magic part, Lindsay. And they go, oh, you have $800. I go, well, what's my procedure tomorrow come to? Oh, $797. That's the magic. That's what I'm saying to everybody on the show. Sometimes it's a mystery. You don't know how things are going to work out, but somehow they always do. Okay? Yeah, lots and lots of magic in the air lately. Okay, we've got a few more minutes. Does anybody have any specific questions or anything that they would like answered, or you'd like to pull a card on? Let's try that. If anybody has any concerns or maybe what's going on. We'll wait for a couple more minutes, but we'll do the show again Sunday. I'll be one less tooth. I'll try not to, it's one of these incisor teeth, so.
Lindsay says she has concerns about cutting past ties.
So Lindsay, you have concerns about cutting past ties?
She wants to know what Crystal would be recommending for her to carry with her.
Okay, good. Abby, okay, I got 2 questions. Okay, Lindsay, okay, so your shoe comes untied and you can tie it up again. Cutting past ties is absolutely necessary. It doesn't mean that it has to be permanent, but for right now, you untie your shoes to take your shoe off to be more comfortable. When you put your shoe on, you can retie it again. Or you can wear a different pair of shoes. You can wear slip-ons. Releasing and clearing the fear of loss around cutting ties. Who's receiving the most benefit from that tie happening? Let's pull a card on that.
She's cut them, but the other person hasn't. She's not feeling safe.
Yeah, so this is the priestess. This is the putting this field of protection around you, like the priestess. This is literally making yourself invisible to that person or people. That's what's happening right now. So I'm glad you brought that question up. And just so this is the group card, Lindsay. This is one of those mysteries. You cut the ties, you free yourself from the state of denial, and it allows you to be able to see the truth. This is about seeing the truth. And then honoring and trusting your truth. You'll always be safe with that.
They confirm she's on the right track.
You just did that? Okay. Blocked invisible protection bubble. Yes. Thank you. All right, my dear Abby, what crystal would you recommend for me to carry with you? can you look up the metaphysical aspects of marble?
Sure.
So, Abby, this is a part of your card tonight, which was equilibrium. So no matter what crystal it is, you can imbue an intention, a vibration into that crystal. And you can change that intention. So think of it as a pair of shoes, a white pair of shoes that you can dye any color and then re-dye it back to the original color. So for instance, marble symbolizes purity, clarity, balance in the spiritual realm. Its smooth surface represents the journey to enlightenment. It fosters grounding energy and connects with higher realms. A marble. If you don't have marble, if you don't want to chip off an end of your marble countertop and stick it in your purse, then literally you can actually carry just a marble and imbue it with those properties of marble. Or if you find a really pretty piece of marble, you can just carry that with you. But whatever stone it is, whatever stone appeals to you to carry with you, just imbue it with what it is you need. But marble is purity, clarity, balance, which was your equilibrium card. In the spiritual realm, it represents the journey to enlightenment, and it fosters grounding energy and connects with higher realms. I love that. Thank you. That was awesome, Kenan. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, we will do this again Sunday night. You have a blessed week. Thank you for being on the show. Great love to you.